Ashe Gems, welcome to the Empress Empire podcast. I am your host with the most, Ashanti of the Sacred Empress, and today is Astro Wizard Wednesday, and this is the day out of the week where we get into the astrology. And today I have a special guest, obviously, because co-host of the Astro Wizard Wednesdays. So welcome on, Ty. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot, but
That's good. That's good. That's always
so
good.
yeah, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready for another segment? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
I'm ready. So today you guys are going to be talking about the houses and in astrology. This was something that confused me at first, I'm gonna lie, because when I was getting into like the planets, I was like, oh, cool. And then the houses, I was just like, what the fuck is a house? Like, what is a house? Why is it called a house? Why didn't they name it something else?
What's in
So
the house? What's
yeah, I'm
in
like,
the
what the
house?
fuck is a house? So with that, I was a little confused. So I stayed away from that. And then when I started to, get on Twitter and stuff, I would see it so often it just kind of became second nature to me. And with the books and stuff that I read, I understood it a little bit better. But nobody explains astrology better than the man himself. So we got a Ty here to break it down and explain it to dummies like me because I still don't get it sometimes. But he's been a big help. So I feel like I got a good little idea of the houses. So I'm gonna start off with my interpretation of the houses. You let me know if I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Let's see.
Okay. So first house is self. Usually this is the rising. This is where the rising
It's the right,
sets.
yep, the right. It has to be the rising. Yep, yep,
Hey,
yep.
look at me, look at me. Second house is usually like finances and career and things like that. So this is Taurus. And first house is Aries.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, look at but yeah, second house is like, finances and things like that. Third house is like communication, social media, um, kind of group things, not like big. I think you said that this is like siblings and
Siblings and close
stuff like
friends, like
that. Yeah.
people consider your siblings. Yep, neighborhood. It's neighborhood. Close community. Close
Close
community. Yep.
community. Yes. Fourth house is Cancer, so home, nostalgia,
Mm-hmm.
childhood, maybe,
Yes, yes, yes.
things like that. Um, and yeah, that's fourth house. Fifth house is Leo, so creativity and love and fun and all that good stuff. Sixth house is Virgo, so health and I think this kind of represents the body in a sense. Like I always
It's
see the
you can
sixth
say,
house as like the body.
yes, yes.
Okay. And seventh house, Libra, so relationships and, you know, romance and all that good stuff. And I don't know what else, because those are the only two things that I ever hear about the seventh house. So I would love to know if there is more to
and
the
I can
house.
and I can do that because we just moved Sidereal, you just moved into Libra season, so I can get into that. I can get into that. We can
Okay,
get into
man. He gonna break it down. He gonna break it down. Eighth house is Scorpio, so transformations. Um, Also seeing this as like taboo things, secrets, things that are hidden and
that.
covered up. Nobody's really talking about them. So that's eighth house. Also like occult stuff like spirituality, tarot cards, things like that. Ninth house is Sagittarius. This could be travel. Um, like education, just in I don't know, different forms of education. Um, I said travel already, but philosophy possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. 10th house, Capricorn. So your reputation, the way that you're perceived, the way that people see you, not so much how you see yourself, but it's the perception of those outside of you. And
Mm-hmm.
then 11th house is Aquarius. So I don't know. I always get like this futuristic vibe with the 11th house. I don't know why. I don't really have the 11th house
No,
down pat. I'm gonna lie.
but that's what it is. Anything that I need to put that as any planet that goes there becomes more futuristic. It becomes more like
Mm. Mm-hmm.
progressive and like
Yeah.
more like outlandish in a
Mm-hmm.
way that benefits the whole. So you on point though. You on point.
Well, see, that's the intuition talk. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know how I remember this shit. But yeah, 11th house, futuristic. This is where you have like more like bigger groups, like fandoms, and stan culture could probably fit into the 11th house. And
Cults, yeah,
then
cults
yeah,
and stance, yeah. You right about that. You just right about that.
crazy. It's like stalker vibes. Like people probably stalk
Mm-hmm.
you, but
I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you into your love. That's the 11th house. That's the 11th house.
that's intense. And don't I have that
Mars and Scorpio on 11th. Yep, you surely do. They'll
oh
be on your
shit.
head. They'll be on your head.
That's why I just be keeping a low profile. I'm like, look, I don't want nobody
Isn't
looking at
that Scorpio though?
me.
You keep a low profile. That's Scorpio.
Yes.
You're
And
like,
for some
listen,
reason,
I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I'm not trying to be in the mix for real.
for real, like for real, I don't look at me. I'm not even here. Just I'm invisible.
That's definitely some Scorpio.
Definitely invisible. You guys cannot see me. I'm John Cena in this bitch.
What? Yeah, what?
But yeah, last but not least, 12th house. 12th house is spirituality. It's just Pisces, so dreams, um, just like this otherworldly vibe. Like things are not what
Mhm.
they seem in this house. So I feel like any planet in this house is a little distorted and a
Yes.
little a
Yes.
little off the rocker. I ain't gonna lie. It's what house. Like,
One of the dangerous signs. I don't know why people never think Pisces is dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous signs. I don't care what
yeah,
nobody's talking about.
yeah.
Like, don't be fooled by the
Like they
ethereal.
literally got the ability to take it there with you. They don't care.
Yeah, and it's like different take you there because it's the house of like divinity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ninth house is too, but the 12th house is a different like ninth house is, I want to say it's more like logical divinity. Like
Yeah.
you actually like your beliefs and actually like living your life the way that you're supposed to be living when you're outside. But when you
Mm-hmm.
go that 12th house though, that is the universe. That is you merging with the universe. Anything can happen. That's the X variable. Anything can
Yeah.
happen. That's why Pisces is dangerous. That house and that house and that time, real dangerous.
Well, how did I do, astrology teacher? How did I do? Did I do
You
good?
did very well. You did very well, actually.
I
You did very
passed,
well.
y'all. I
Yeah,
passed
you
the
did.
house test. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Can't nobody tell me. I might as well be an astrologer now. Only thing I gotta get down packed is the degrees. That's it. The degrees, and I'm solid. Well, the transits too. So
Yeah,
let me
you just learn. It's
move
honestly
myself.
really all it is you learn keywords. You learn the keywords
Mm-hmm.
for the houses. You learn the keyword for like how the energy plays out, which is the zodiac. And then you really just intuit it. Like you just intuit. You be like,
Yeah.
let me think about how this sign acts, like how it expresses
Mm-hmm.
itself. Let me think about the theme, which is the house, right? And then let me
Yeah.
think about putting that together. And then a planet, the actor. Let me think about how that would be, as a person. Who's that as a person? Like
Right.
what archetype is there? Like basically, your planets is just your planets in each sign is like archetype. It's an archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what archetype are you when it comes to this theme, which is the house? What
Right.
archetype? What do you act like? What do you react like? And what do you respond to when this theme comes to you?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I love that. I love astrology. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's like a little, I don't know, dressing up our spirit almost. Like that's the vibe it gives off.
Mm-hmm.
So guess
Are
we're
you
gonna get
ready?
into it. I'm ready. I am
Okay, let's get it.
excited.
So houses, y'all. So this is the difference between the three: houses, zodiac signs, and was it houses, zodiac signs, and planets. Planet is your actor. Let's take Will Smith. Will Smith is the actor, so he would be the planet. Um, the the theme would be the movie. That would be the movie that you're playing in. The zodiac sign would be the role that you are playing in said movie. So let's say, for instance, let's do Saturn. Saturn would be the actor. Whatever sign Saturn is in, that's the role that Saturn is playing. Still Saturn, but that's the role. And then the theme would be what the movie's called. So that's how you put that together. So we all have all 12 themes of life going on at the same time. So if anybody is always like, I have an empty house, I don't have no planet there, it's still activated. It's still activated because you're a whole person. You're not pieces of a person. You're a whole person, so it's still activated every day of your life. Some places you just have more emphasis on certain places. If you have like stelliums, which is 3 or more planets in a house, or some people do Placidus, so it could be signs too. Like you got 2 Aries placements in a house and then a Taurus placement, so it could be like that too if you do, depending on the system you use. But the system I use, it wouldn't be a stellium if it's 2 different zodiacs. Like it would only be that one. But stelliums is 3 or more. Some people got 5 planets in a house. Kind of bizarre. Like I'm like, what did you do in a past life to deserve that? Because why is all your energy in one place like that? So let's start with the first house. First house is naturally the Aries house. First house for you is your rising or your lagna. It's your head because it leads your whole body. So you usually can tell how people look, what their rising is based off their facial features. First house is your body. It is how you assert yourself because it's leading your chart. You can't assert yourself without knowing who you are. That's why Aries is I am. So the first house is I am. So meet Virgo rising. I am Virgo. Like that's literally that's me. Like I can't take it off. I can't do nothing about it. Like that's my rising. Now, when you add planets there, it gets a little trickier because now the actor is taking on this role regardless of what they're doing. Now they're taking on this role mixed with that planet. So it's body and personality. It's how you assert yourself. It's I think it's something you do naturally because Aries is instinct, right? So it's something you do naturally. It's the perception. It's your first perception on life when you walk into life. Like when you wake up, that's the lens you're looking through. I'm looking through the Virgo lens, which is detail oriented. It's looking for efficiency. It's looking for analytics. It's looking for cleanliness. It's looking for perfection. Like that's when I wake up. That's what I'm on. That's the time that I'm on. Whereas Ashanti's Capricorn rising, so her lens is realism, realistic. Capricorns is Saturn, realistic. Her lens is entrepreneurial, business, responsible, mature. She's putting on that lens as soon as she wake up. That's her everyday life when she step. And also it's how people see you first. So when you first meet people, they're getting Capricorn rising. When people first meet me, they probably get a Virgo rising, a little more shy, a little more reserved. We'll speak to you eventually. Oh, also, the planet that is in your first house, whether you have planets there or not, even if it's empty, mine's empty. Me and Ashanti have empty first houses. I mean, not we do, but we don't because we have other things there. We have other things there, and then you also have other planets can aspect your first house, so it can still be very much there. So with the first house, whatever planet is there, that is your chart ruler. So for me, my chart ruler is what you're here. Your chart ruler is what you're here to do because it's coming from your first house of your natural energy. So your natural energy is going into a specific thing that you're supposed to do in this lifetime. So for me, Virgo is my rising. That means I gotta look to the ruling planet, Mercury. Mercury is my chart ruler. Mercury is in my 10th house of career. So what is that? Communication in career. I'm supposed to be communicating. I'm supposed to be sharing thoughts and opinions. I might even have a blog. I might even channel messages. People sleep on Gemini being a channeler of messages. They sleep on it. I don't know why. They think it gotta be this like it gotta be one of the water signs or some other sign. But no, it's air. We're getting it from the Akashic records to talk to you. Like how do we even formulate it? It had to come from somewhere, So that's my thing. My Mercury in my 10th. That's the planet of communication, trade, business, short travel, and it's in the 10th house of career, business, status, reputation. So clearly, one of my things for my life moving forward or my legacy is going to be what I say is what's going to impact the world. Since the 10th house is Capricorn, it could also be related to Saturn, and it's the world. So I will leave an impact on the world with what I say. Also, it's in the 10th house. I have to watch what I say as well. Now, Ashanti's chart ruler is her Saturn in Taurus in the 5th. So for Ashanti, what she's here to do is master creativity, master her inner child. Not necessarily master her inner child in a way of like inner child, but like having her inner child execute things very well when it comes to creativity. That's mastering your inner child. Also, with Ashanti, she's supposed to take her time with love. Saturn in the fifth. That's what you hear. Take her here to show you what patient and disciplined love looks like. With Saturn in the fifth. What else? Creativity. Oh, Ashanti's hobbies and natural talents, because Leo's natural talent is the fifth house. So her Saturn in the fifth, she can master her natural talents. She can master her hobbies, whatever her hobbies are. And then the sign there shows you what type of hobby she likes to do. I also mix with the planet too, like also mix with the planet, but more so like the sign shows you what type of hobbies you like to do. So Taurus is beauty things, singing, something maybe with cooking, something with herbs, because it's an earth sign. So it's that something that makes her feel comfortable. It's Taurus. So that's how you see the sign start expressing it. So Saturn is just what Saturn's going to do to the sign in that theme of life when it comes to her creativity, her passions, her hobbies, her love language, her love life, her romantic life. It's going to bring some delays. It's going to bring some limitations. It's going to bring some restrictions. She might feel restricted in her creativity. It's going to be stuff like that. And she could tell you, she'd be like, yeah, create a block. So literally, wherever Saturn put a block with that house and that sign. Resources with Taurus, you might feel like I don't have enough resources to create. I don't have enough resources for me to feel comfortable in love, in my love life. Like I don't feel comfortable. So stuff like that. So now let's move on. So first house was, your head. It's your head. It's how you assert yourself, bold, how you be bold, it's how you direct. So you're direct with that planet. So when we meet certain people, we see certain planets act differently when we first meet people. Some people might be Mars in the first, and you'd be like, damn, you mad aggressive. What? But that's just naturally them because Mars is in the first. So that could be an Aries rising, that could be a Scorpio, or that can be anybody with Mars in the first. You'd be like, yo, you more aggressive than I was ready for, that's just some people. Or whereas Saturn in the first, you're more serious and mature than most people. Like you're real serious, you're real realistic, there's that. Then you got like, let's do Mercury, more communicative, more chatty, more conversational. Then you got Venus, lovey, like relating. Venus is relating. So that person could be more, they relate to people better. That's a Taurus or a Libra rising, or anybody with Venus in the first, you relate to people better. So by the people can see you as beautiful, right? Saturn or Mercury, Saturn, they can see you as a little standoffish because Saturn don't play. Saturn like, listen, everybody ain't coming over here. Saturn's about boundaries. So you literally show up with authority, and Saturn is authority as well. So you show up, Capricorn risings, Aquarius risings, people with Saturn the first show up as like authority type energy, boss type energy, or just like serious, Also wise, because Saturn has taught them a lot of things as well. Or a little restricted too. Like people with Saturn first might hold themselves back because Saturn's restriction is restricting their assertiveness, it's restricting them being bold, it's restricting the Aries, like ain't nothing to it but to do it, like just do it. Saturn is not letting them just do it, What other planet? Jupiter. This person could be more jovial, which is more joyful, happy, more optimistic. That's if you got like Jupiter, that's either Sag or Pisces, or Jupiter in the first. Like some people are more jovial, they're more happy, they're more, out there. Mars, them people direct. It's Aries, it's Scorpio. It's literally the natural place for Mars to be. It's direct. It's direct. It take action. It don't play. It don't wait for nothing. Now let's get into the second house. Did I say everything? The self, the physical body. Okay. Now, second house. This is the Taurus house naturally. This is fixed assets. This is savings. This is material possessions, and it's the family you're born into, and it's your speech as well. So this is the difference I have like learned how to make. Second house in Taurus, I think, is how you say it, and I think Gemini is what you say. Gemini third house is what you say. Second house Taurus is how you say it, because Taurus is having tense speech. Because look at their sister sign is Scorpio. So Taurus also rules the throat. So Taurus is more vocal. Taurus is more vocal. They rule the throat. That's why second house is speech. What else? Planets in the, oh, my bad. Planets in the first become bold, direct, assertive, initiating. They become initiating. They become more forward. Like you're more forward with that planet. They become instinctual. Like it just happens natural. Now the second house, planets here in the second house with the Taurus energy, whether Taurus is there or not, the second house planets become more value. Like you value those planets. You learn how to value that planet. They become more stabilized because Taurus is about stabilization and grounding yourself. So planets become more grounded, they become more secure, and they become more reliable. Because Taurus is the sign of like, is another sign of loyalty, like Leo, and then but Taurus is also a sign of like being reliable. Because who do people ask for money? They ask a Taurus for money because they know a Taurus usually has money. If they're not going through nothing, they usually have the money, and that'd be the problem. So planets that's what planets do in a second. So also the first house is a cardinal house, which means it's an angular house. The angular houses are 1, 4, 7, and 10. That is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, because they initiate things. First house is physical leadership, like physical initiation. Fourth house, Cancer, emotional initiation, because Cancer is the first person to tell you, I wasn't feeling that. A Cancer gonna tell you, they're not gonna keep it for too long. I'm not holding it in. I didn't like that. So fourth house is emotional leadership, emotional initiation. It's also the darkest part of your chart. It's your roots. Now, seventh house, Libra, what are they? They are mental initiation, mental leadership. Libra's diplomatic. They're the first one to talk. Like a Libra might talk to you first. They might approach you first and talk to you. They're the sign of relating to people. You can't be quiet if you're trying to relate to people. So, and then 10th house, Capricorn. That is, I want to say that, oh, well, that I would say that is, I don't know, physical. I would say it's physical as well, but I'm a mix the two. Since Aries is fire, it's more spirit. So I say spirit initiation, like Aries is moving off their spirit. They're just moving off. That's why sometimes it's a little too fast. And they're like, oh, well, I got excited, so let me go do it. No. Think about it. So I would say that Aries is more spiritual initiation and spiritual leadership, because you're just doing it off the strength of your spirit. Capricorn is physical. They're physically looking at reality, physically using things to initiate themselves. They're using their resources. So that's the difference between 1, 4, 7, and 10. And if you have any planets in 1, 4, 7, and 10, you are here to lead in some type of way, because those are put on the forefront. Those houses are not hidden. They're put on the forefront. Those are all the initiating houses. That's why they call it angular houses. And that's why your rising is in an angular house, because it's a thing that's put on the forefront. The seventh house is what's put on the forefront in relationship. The fourth house is what's put on the forefront at home and when it comes to your emotions. 10th house is what's put on the forefront when you actually have a career and you actually have status and reputation, and you're building your legacy and foundation. You can't be acting any type of way out here. You can't be moving any type of way. That's why Capricorn, they call Capricorn calculated, because you cannot. They play chess, not checkers. Capricorns don't play checkers. They never have and they never will. So that's the 1, 4, 7, and 10. But we're gonna get into 4, 7, and 10. But second house called succeedent because it's right after. It's not as initiative as the first 4, 7, and 10, but it's a support system. So that's what you call, that's Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. Those are the support system. They're supporting the house that was just right before them. Because sometimes the houses, the 1, 4, 7, and 10, they have an issue with starting things, but they don't see it through. And that's where 2, 5, 8, and 11, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, that's where the fixed signs come in, because fixed is about stability. It's about continuing something. So that's why they're usually the support systems for people. First 4, 7, and 10 are usually the leaders of people. So now with this second house, right? So it's your speech. It's the values you learn from your family, your personal morals and values, because sometimes your personal morals and values will differ from your family. And then that's how you get into the whole, like, they frustrating me in the second house because our personal morals is not aligning. Like what I'm learning through life is not aligning with what they taught me. So that's what a lot of Tauruses run into issues with family and them personal morals and values, because it's my Taurus about my personal morals and values, not your morals and values. Okay, so that's what the second house. So the planets there become. I said all of that. So now we're gonna move on to the third. my babies. Gemini, well, Taurus my babies too, but everybody my babies, honestly. But Taurus, I got placements there, so those are my babies. Taurus, Aries, and Gemini, my babies. Gemini's third house, communication, neighborhood, siblings. Okay, the planet here will tell you your relationship with your siblings. In the second house, the planets there tell you about. I gotta stop moving so fast. Second house, the planets there tell you what personal morals and values meant, like what they looked like growing up, and what you strive for when you move out of the low octave of that. So let's say me, for example, I got Libra in a second. I didn't really see balance when it came to money, when it came to money and resources, because it really wasn't balanced. Relationships, I saw like relationships didn't really work out in family, like family not even that close. Like it was weird, and a lot of people pleasing. Libra, let me put my stuff to the side because my family said that. No. And I got Chiron there too. You throw Chiron in the mix, even worse. So I got a wound. I got a personal wound that has nothing to do with it's a personal wound with them in that area of life for me. Okay. And also, second house is about self-worth and self-esteem. Because where do you learn self-worth and self-esteem from? Your family. That's the first. Nobody else can teach you that. You don't grow up with nobody else but your family first. As the first people in your house. So that's what the planets there. The planets there learn about self-worth and self-esteem as well. The planets there learn how to save as well too. Now, third house, Gemini babies. That's communication. That's how you first learn your thought process, how to think. It's I think. So first house was I am. Second house was I have, and then third house is I think. Now we're on I think, right? So you're learning your thought process. You're probably in elementary school at this time. You're around other children. You're seeing how they think. You're seeing how they react. You're seeing their thought processes. So third house is communication skills, analytical ability, willpower, because Geminis have the willpower to go hard for their interest in the skills that they like. Like we go hard. Like when we really focus, oh, it's a wrap. We're gonna master the craft. Short distance travel and siblings, right? So the planets here, they become communicative, they become more inquisitive, like they're gonna ask questions, they become more verbal, they become more adaptable, because Gemini, the twins, it's adaptable, and they become more intelligent. So let's do me. Pluto in the third. The sign of transformation, personal power, soul empowerment is in the house of siblings. So, it has been a little power dynamic with me and my siblings. It's been a little power struggle. Also, Pluto in the third, me, I don't take nothing at face value when I'm talking to people. If I ask you a question, I don't want no wishy-washy, not sure answer or some like open-ended answer. What do you mean by that? Like how people be trying to give you false. No, what do you mean by that? Why do you think that? Like I'm gonna get you deep because Pluto is about going deep. I'm gonna make you go deep. Like what do you mean? So that's just been me as a child. Also, I've probably been more of a more quiet child of just observing, because Pluto, since it's a co-ruler of Scorpio, it's naturally more observant first before I communicate. So I'm very much a person that's gonna sit back before I start talking, just to feel it out, to see what's going on. So that was the third house, and that's called the third house. 3, 6, 9, and 12 are called cadent houses. That is the mutable houses. That is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So those are the houses that after you get the initiating something, like let's say you're starting with an idea, that's cardinal. Fixed is seeing it through, but even fixed still sometimes needs help. So here's where the mutables come in. Sometimes you could do something for so long, that don't mean you're doing it right though. And that's what fixed signs, they learn to you have to change. There's things you have to change. You cannot keep doing something the same way. And that's where the mutables come in, because they're like, did you ever think about trying it this way? Or did you ever feel this way? Or did this didn't come to you this way? Or did you go in isolation and did you go really see what that's about? Like, I think you should twist that around. It's like twisting around the puzzle, to fit it. Like, hey, it's not that. Do this instead. Like, that's mutables. Do this instead. So now we're on fourth house. Another cardinal house. We're back to cardinal because the cycle starts over. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're starting back over. Now we're back in cardinal, but now we're in emotional cardinal though. So this is fourth house. That is home and family life, emotions, mother, ancestors, roots, and femininity. So the planets here become more protective. They become more emotional. They become more intuitive. They become more homely. They become more changeable, since fluctuations, they fluctuate. They become more nurturing as well. So Well, it depends on the chart. It depends on the chart. How does energy show up in your fourth house? Because the fourth house, it can make you emotional. It's the emotional. It's the first emotional house. It's the first time you experience emotions. So whatever sign is there, whatever planet is there, it tells a lot about how that family got down in that house. Because we'll go down in the house, stay at the house. Okay. And that's the difference between Cancer and Capricorn. Capricorn, like, listen, I've had this stuff going on in the fourth house. I'm not showing that in reality, in real life with y'all. You're not gonna see you're not gonna see fourth house me. And that's the difference of how like the polarities of the houses show up. Like the 10th house is not letting you see the fourth house. Capricorn is not letting you see Cancer. Cancer, I'm Cancer when I'm at the house. That's Capricorn. Capricorn's like, I'm Cancer when I'm at the house. I'm Capricorn with y'all hoes because I don't know y'all. I don't know you hoes. I don't know y'all. So yeah, fourth house, Cancer, what I say, I already said it. So yeah, the planet there is deeply embedded in you and your genealogy because it's the fourth house. So me and Ashanti, we got different fourth houses, right? But me and Ashanti are both Earth risings though. So that means me and Ashanti share a similarity in the element that is in the same house. We have all the same elements each house because if you start off with a certain rising, all the elements have to add up because all the zodiacs go in a certain order. They don't change order. It's fire, earth, air, water. So if it's earth, it's earth, air, water, fire. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So me and Ashanti are earth, air, water, fire. So that means me and Ashanti have fire in our fourth house. So I think y'all could get with that. But family was explosive. Family was passionate. The lineage is passionate. So if you really want to connect to your ancestors, you can learn your ancestors through your fourth house. That's the first one. Your fourth house, your ancestors, whatever sign is there and whatever that planet is going, that's a huge determination of how your ancestors play out. So with me and Ashanti, we got fiery ancestors. Okay? You said what? You said what? Think about how the fire signs give it up. Think about how the fire signs give it up. They don't play. That's why I'm like, y'all, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Because also that's deeply embedded in us. So we're getting that fire from them. That's a fire we learned from them. We learned it from our family and we learned it from them because it's in our DNA. Fourth house is literally your DNA, right? I mean, all of us are DNA, but fourth house is that like emotional, feminine, matriarch DNA. So whatever the matriarch was going through, that sign is in your heart. Okay.
Yeah, that's intense.
So Earth Risings got fire ancestors. So play with Earth's Risings if you want to. Our ancestors is on fire. They on fire.
Fire underneath their ass.
Yes, real quick. So don't play. And then the way they send you messages is depending on how that zodiac plays out. Like, so for Ashanti, they'd probably be more like direct with her. They'd probably be like, Ashanti, listen, we're not playing with you no more. You need to do this. You need to do this.
That is them.
Because Aries is very much like, yes or no, make a decision. Like, so Ashanti's answers about like, Ashanti, no more indecisiveness, no more Libra. What do you want to do? Yeah. What do you need? That's how the Aries energy play out, right? They're probably motivating her because Aries is the motivator, it's the pioneer. Probably like, Ashanti, go do this. Like, don't be scared. Like, come on, Ashanti. Like, come on. Like, go do this. Like, you got it. Like, we got you. Like, we got it. Like, we got it. So, and then the difference between mine, Sagittarius. So they're like, Ty, have faith, like get into your prayer, like read religious text, like meditate. They like that's them. They're like more
the guru. Religious. You got the guru, like
like they're like you can't be acting like that. You can't just be doing that. Like that's them to me. Like, and they like pay attention to the signs. Like, trust your spirit, because fire, you have to trust your spirit. That's a different trust. When you trust your spirit, it's not a thinking thing. It's not a physical thing, really. It's more like a just innate knowing. It's like, that's why fire and water are opposites, because they're both like innate knowing, but one is a feeling and one is just knowing. Like, you're moving off the strength of your willpower. Like, you're like, I know in my heart, like, that this is it. That's why sometimes people will be looking at fire signs crazy, because they be like, what are you doing? But you be like, I know this is for me. Like, I know, like, I got to go off the passion. So it's like off the strength. Like, it's literally off the strength of muscle. Like, it's off the strength. Like, it's off the strength. So that's how our ancestors play out. And they probably make jokes with me. They probably make laugh at me because they Sagittarius, so they probably be laughing at me when I be doing crazy stuff. And they be like, Ty, all right. Relax.
And get a flat screen.
But hey, real quick. All right. Now, fifth house. This is your end. This is the one that I would have to say all the houses are important, but that fifth house, if you don't have your inner child, you don't have nothing. I promise you will not get far. Because what they always say, to get into the kingdom of heaven, to get into heaven, you got to have the childlike heart, childlike eyes, childlike mind, childlike spirit. So your fifth house is very important. Fifth house, naturally Leo. So that's what the sun usually naturally is. So that's creativity. That's creativity, media, entertainment, early education, children, joy, self-expression, romance, gambling, love affair, and fertility. People get pregnant in the fifth house. Don't be fooled. Because what can flings and romance do? In dating, you can end up pregnant. Okay. And Leos be having sex. It's the lion. Leos be having sex. Okay. Yeah. So planets here become strong. They become romantic. They become entertaining. They become playful. They become bright, like they're put on display. Because Leo's about putting on a show, putting on display. They become self-expressed, like you're literally expressing that from your heart. And then they become regal, which is like royal, because they can't just be acting any type of way. Because if you're royalty, you can't just be acting any type of way. So whatever planet is becoming royal, you got to treat it like it's royal. Now, and Leo is another support system to another cardinal house, right? Leos see it through. Leos make sure that they have enough confidence to see it through, because sometimes Cancers can initiate something, but because of their feelings that they have or how they grew up, they become more passive and homely. And Leo's like, nah, I'm outside with it. Be outside. Leo be like, I'm outside. Fifth house be like, I'm outside. I heard about you, Cancer, but I'm outside. Which is why Capricorn is outside and Cancer is inside. Not saying Cancers are never outside, because clearly that's a sister sign. They have to use Capricorn energy, but for the most part, more Cancers are homebody people. They're more homely. They want to be at home. They want to be close to near the people they love. Leo was like, listen, I got a gang behind me. We outside. Like, so that's the difference between like Cancer be needing that support from Leo of like, wow, you're shining and you're outside with it, and like you're not afraid to be around people and be feeling people's energies. Like you're not afraid of that. So that's where the support come in. Now we got so I would say initiating, support, and then I would say like, what would you say for the mutable signs of how they help? It's like starting something, seeing something through. You could say finishing, but what would you call that?
I don't know. I feel like it's more expansion, like just being able to,
like
grow outside of your comfort zone, or just more so like, I don't know, maybe motivating or
perspective. They give you the mutable signs give you perspective, because fix can be tunnel vision. Cardinals like, I want to do it my way. I'm gonna just do it my way and see how it goes. Mutable is like, let me give you perspective. So they support with perspective. So now we're in one of them perspective ones. Sixth house, Virgo, naturally Virgo. So that means it's naturally Mercury's here, right? But that you're always gonna have Mercury here. So sixth house is daily routine, enemies, diseases, debts, litigation, healing ability, analytical ability as well, because it's Mercury again. But it's more so filtered and analytical ability, because like Gemini, we have a thing about us where we think about a little too much. We don't know how to filter it back out. Which is why Virgo is exalted. Mercury is exalted in Virgo, because Virgo actually like synthesizes it and puts it in compartments. Whereas Gemini, we just let it all blend together and be like, I got 5 different things in my head. I don't know what to do with these. And then sixth house is also servants as well, because you're serving the world. Serving is not a bad term. It just depends on how people trying to treat you. That's the only thing. Now, sixth house could also be the battlefield, because now you're working with people. So planets that come to the sixth house, they become more useful. They become maintained. They become efficient, because sixth house is the house of daily life. They become maintained, efficient, organized, filtered, synthesized, and precise. So whatever sign is in that sixth house, it become very like sharp. The sixth house, whatever that planet, they be here with it. They're like, nothing get it past me. Okay, nothing's getting past me, because it's detailed. Virgo's detail oriented. So whatever planet is like, oh no, I didn't like what I just saw. I wasn't appreciating that. I seen that. I see you didn't clean it. I see you spilled that milk.
Yeah, that's literally me. That'd be me
Okay,
to me.
you got that six house stellium there. Yeah, you
Yeah.
like I see you spend. You know, man, I'm a Virgo rising, and I got a planet in six house too. I seen you do. I saw that. No,
Yeah.
no.
I swear
Okay.
sometimes I think like I'm being recorded, so I have to do things a
Yeah.
specific way. Like I have to put myself in that perspective. Otherwise, I'm gonna leave whatever. Just leave it. But like, what if you're being recorded right now? What if somebody's recording you? You're being punked or some
This is
shit.
how I be
Like
acting.
I'd be
I
having
be like,
to
I
go
be like
in.
spirit watching me. When I don't be doing things, I'm like spirit's watching me. They watching
You
me.
just gonna act like nobody saw that?
Yeah, like spirit is watching me self sabotage. Spirit is
Yeah,
watching me do dumb things. Like I need to stop. They're watching me. Like
yeah.
it's not like they're not seeing me.
The
So
disappointment be crazy. It's like, damn, I done disappointed myself.
okay. Now we're back. Now we start the cycle again. We just came from I should have did like a story. We just came from now we're in our work environment because six house is really work because you're doing it every
Mm-hmm.
day. So now we're coming out of our work environment. We're now learning how to interact with people. We're doing something that's being of service to the world. So now we got to interact with people. Now we got to see how these people's mindsets are because Mercury is here. So we got to see how these people think, how their mindsets are, how efficient they are at their task. Then after we do that, now that we're having conversations with people, Mercury, we're relating to people. Libra, Venus, the seventh house. Now, Ashanti, now we can get into Libra in the seventh house. Sidereal Libra season just started. What's today? The 19th?
Yeah. Yep.
Libra season started 2 days ago on the 17th. Well, Sidereal Libra season started on the
Mm-hmm.
17th. All right. Libra, seventh house, marriage, legal partnerships, spouse, contracts. It also could be business as well. Capricorn is not just the only one business. Libra could be business because it could be a one-on-one business partnership. Um, it's it could be court. Seventh house could be court because now that you're in a relationship, you have to speak from your side. The other person has to speak from their side.
Mm-hmm.
Libra, you're trying to find a middle ground. It's a cardinal house. You're initiating conversation. It's Venus. You're initiating trying to relate to people or attempting to relate to people. So planets here become cooperative. They become diplomatic. They become graceful. They become charming. They become social. They become balanced. I'm not necessarily doing the more quote unquote negative traits because it should be kind of I mean I can speak on it a different day, but it should be kind of self-explanatory. What would
Yeah.
they do? It would become uncooperative, become
Right.
imbalanced, right? It'd be more of a shadow type thing. So also seventh house, there's two shadow placements, seventh and the eighth. Why is that? Because seventh house is you getting in the relationship with somebody. Eighth house is you actually going through life and transformation with the person. Seventh house is just you initiating that. Remember, the fixed
Mm-hmm.
signs are seeing it through. So that's why Scorpio is you actually seeing the relationship through. You're having sex with this person. You're trying to be committed to certain things. You're putting certain things behind you. You know. So the seventh house. So this is a shot. It's a mirror. So seventh house is a mirror because it's a mirror to the first house. If you got yourself and you meet somebody else, that's a mirror. So now, whatever energy, whatever planet is here, you're seeing that expressed through other people that you interact with. Or if you, I heard also just read something, if you don't do the planet that's in the seventh house, somebody will try to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So if you don't do the energy that's in that house, they try to do it for you. So me, Pisces seventh, I'm a Virgo rising. It has to be the opposite of your first house unless you're using Placidus. Then that'll make it different. But I use whole sign. So Virgo rising, Pisces in my seventh, Jupiter is there as well. So I have the natural dignity, which is a ruler ruling its natural sign. It's called dignity. And it's in the seventh house. So the relationships for me are supposed to be prosperous. They're supposed to help me expand spiritually, help me become more empathetic, more compassionate, more like moving from a place of unconditional love, more spiritual, um, more artistic, more gentle, more creative. However, the low octave, Pisces, deception. People be trying to pull wool over my eyes. People be trying to gaslight me. They're trying to victimize themselves. They um yeah, woe is me, or even me, or the opposite end. I'm too overgiving in that house because I'm looking at the woe is me people and I'm like, oh, I gotta help you because woe is me. Like I feel you. I'm empathetic. Like I can't let you. But that's not always my duty. That's not my duty. That's not my
Right.
obligation. Also, they can also feel like with Jupiter, since it's the teacher, people, if I'm not teaching, and I don't have to be teaching all the time, people can be feeling like they're teaching me something all the time. No, you're not supposed to feel like you somebody teach all the time.
Right.
No, because you're not my teacher. Because you're not my teacher. Unless I want you to be, you're not my teacher. So the person, they can do the sign that's there. Like for you, Cancer 7. Somebody, if you don't mother some, like if you're not doing the motherly thing, somebody can try to do it to you.
Yeah.
Or if you're
It
not
don't
doing
look
the,
too good either. It's like,
you're not my mama. We're here. You're not supposed to be trying to be my mother.
right.
Relax. Or you're not supposed to be overly emotional. You probably deal with overly emotional people with that Cancer 7. They,
Yeah.
they can do a lot. They can do a lot.
Yeah. So I'm just like by myself. I'm like
Yeah, it's a certain
arms linked with
sensitivity.
everybody.
Yeah, it's a certain sensitivity.
Yeah.
No offense to my cases, but y'all be the sensitivity it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. It's not a bad. It can be overwhelming though. We're gonna leave it at overwhelming. I don't say too much on y'all. It can be overwhelming. So you have to embody to get the high octave of the seventh house. You have to embody that sign and that planet to get the high octave. Because look at me, when I have an Pisces, when I have an illusion on myself, I'm not connected to my divinity, I don't meet people that's connected to theirs. When I don't know what's going on, and then that's how I get people that's trying to be deceptive and not really show me who they really are. They just showing me like little pieces,
Yeah.
and I'm taking it and I'm running with it because Pisces is also what they do. They idealize things. Oh, okay, I like this person. I like how they energy. They haven't told you anything though. They haven't really
Right.
told you anything like spectacular, or they haven't told you anything substantial yet. So that's my thing that I have to learn with that Pisces thing. People also tell me I'm lost in my own world, and I'll be like, no, I'm paying attention. You think I am, but I'm not.
You're literally a Virgo rising. Like, come
I
on, be fucking for real.
I walked into the room and I saw everything. What do you mean? Like what? What? So now here's another supporting house. This is you actually going through the marriage, right? This is the turmoil, the chaos that comes from a marriage sometimes. This is the
Yeah.
eighth house, the infamous eighth house, another water house. Oh, also, the first house is fire because it's Aries. The second house, so they go like the natural. They go by the natural list. Like the houses go by the natural elements of starting with Aries, because Aries is the first. It's always going to be the first. It's never going to be the second. It's only the second if you're a different rising. But naturally, all the houses are going to match the element of how an Aries rising is situated. So if somebody has an Aries rising, all their elements, all their zodiacs fit perfectly. If somebody's a Libra rising, Libra risings have to learn balance between being oxymoronic. Like their life is oxymoronic because they got all the oppositions in the places that they don't want to be. They got Taurus where Scorpio is, got Scorpio where Taurus, they got Gemini where Sag where Gemini, Aries where Libra where Aries. So they have to learn how to balance being imbalanced. Like they have to learn that. That's their thing. But now we're in the eighth house. So that's another succeeding house. It's supporting because it's fixed. So it's emotionally support. It's emotional support. Now you got emotional support after you just built this contract with somebody. You just put yourself in a contract because now you're getting your emotions involved. Now you're having sex with this person. You're sharing emotional intimacy. You know, it don't always have to be sex, the eighth house. Emotional intimacy. You're sharing money with shared resources. You're sharing money with people in the eighth house. Whatever planet you put in that eighth house, it could be it's becoming shared. You're sharing it now. Um, so eighth house, death, transformation, rebirth, ability to rise after a fall. Because the phoenix is naturally this. Whatever planet becomes renewed and rebirthed right in there. It's secret affairs, um, legacy, merging. It's also legacy because how you get other. It's inheritances, mystery, occult, taxes, loans, and shadow. The infamous shadow. Your actual shadow. Like you get your shadow through other people, but the eighth house shadow, that's a different game. That's a different game right there. That's a different game. It's not the same as you going outside and meeting people. This is some in a dark, in a closet type thing. Yeah, that's eighth house. Like it gets serious in there. It's not a game. You could get lost in it, which brings me to you could get lost in people's shadows and their projections. That's why you have to build up a like spirit with the eighth house and Scorpio. They want you to build such a emotional strength that you don't let people's shadow affect you. Because when people are, what they say, in misery love company, when people are miserable, when people are upset at their lives, when people don't like their shadow, they try to bring that BS to you. So that's what you learn in the eighth house. You learn to use your planet and not let people get all that gunk on your planet that's in there. So for me, Moon and Saturn, I can't let people put that onto my emotions. That's one. In my mind, because your mind is from your emotions. I mean, your emotions from your mind. And then my Saturn, my discipline, and the way I my authority when it comes to my shadow. I can't let people like bully me, like in a sense, or try to control my shadow. There's also a control house. Like I can't let people try to control me. Whereas you can't let people control your shine. Leo, you got Leo in A. Can't let people control your shine. So wherever you got Leo there, and then wherever your sun is where whatever happens in that eighth house is going to affect your sun and your Leo.
Wow, that makes
So
sense.
think about if people project onto you with their ego stuff, because whatever that's the energy they're giving. Whatever energy is in that house, whichever energy is in this house, that's what people give to you, and it's also what you express. But we all know that everybody's not perfect, and we know that people gonna bring most of the time people gonna bring the low octave before they bring the good octave. They're gonna bring before they bring the high octave, they're gonna bring the low one. So the low one, how that would play out for you with the Leo and the eight, somebody that demonizes their inner child, somebody that suppresses their inner child, somebody that's more egoic and they use their ego for bad in the eighth house. Somebody that's not willing to transform their ego will bring that to you, and you'll be like, no, I don't live like that. Like that has nothing to do with you trying to hurt my feelings because your ego's wounded. Like, don't do that to me, and don't try to make me demonize my shadow because you don't know how to act. So that's how that can play out for you. So planets in the eighth house become powerful, they become transformative, they become observant, they become regenerative, they become deep, they become shared or hidden, they become resilient, and they become focused, because Scorpio got a different type of focus. Scorpio is about emotional fixation. When you're emotionally fixated on something, are Scorpios not vengeful when they emotionally fixated on something? If they want to get you back, they're going to get you back. They're going to plot and plan. Yeah, so the planets there they get real focused. Because I know when I'm upset and my moon is in the A, all I can think about is why I'm mad. All I can think about is why I'm upset. All I can think about is how mad you made me and how much you try to project onto me. That's all I'm going to think about. And I'm going to be irritated. Okay? Now that we going through the marriage, now we're traveling. Now you're meeting the family. Now the family's beliefs are starting to come into play, the ninth house. And sometimes that starts to mess up the relationship, and you might have to part ways. The ninth house is long distance travel. You might have to part ways with your spouse because now family, their beliefs and different religions are starting to mix, different cultures are starting to mix. So this is another mutable house. You have to have a perspective change. You're now intertwined with somebody. Eighth house is about intertwining. You signed the contract, now you're intertwining. So seventh house, whatever planet is your seventh house, you signed a contract with that planet. Eighth house is you living out the contract. This is what you said you was going to do. So why are you not doing it? And then you wonder why your life is in turmoil because you signed this contract with this planet and you're not doing it in the eighth house. You said you're going to do this in the seventh house, but now that we got to the eighth house, you didn't do nothing you said you were going to do in the seventh house.
Right.
What changed? What changed? What happened? What happened?
Makes me think of soul contract too. Like,
But I thought we was in this together. I thought we was in this for the long haul.
Especially when people basically bind themselves to people. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna be together forever. You're my." Yeah, when you start to say stuff like that, like you
make sure you know what you're getting into before you sign your life away. Because what's eighth house? Death. Before you sign your life away, make sure you know what you're getting into. Sex is binding. Emotional intimacy is binding. You just sharing a deep conversation. What do people do? They emotionally dump on you. Eighth house. And what are you left with? Their shadow pieces, their shadow energy, their projections, their garbage. That's what you're left with. So,
yikes.
7 to 7, going from the 7 to 8, make sure you know what you're getting into. Because what happens? Relationships, Libra, Saturn is the exaltation. Relationships can take your time away from your actual desires, 8th house, from your true desires. Or you either get other people's desires put on you in the 8th house. All right. Now we going through the marriage. 9th house, higher education. We might be going to college. Teachers, religion, culture, long distance travel, luck, philosophy, wisdom, ethics, and morals. What have you learned through your life's experiences? now that you've been in a relationship, now that you've seen another culture, now that you've seen somebody else's lifestyle, now that you've been in people's faces, now that you've had sex with people, now that you've communicated in different situations, now that you've been in different environments, you've seen different people's lifestyles, what have you learned? What's your own religion? What's your own belief about what you've learned?
Right.
Nobody else believe. What is your belief about what you have learned through life now? Because you can have a thought, but what's your belief?
Right. What do you stand on?
What's the concepts? What's the philosophies? Like, what's the philosophy now that you've been through this? And you can always change it. That's why Sagittarius, but some Sagittarius don't be as open-minded as they say they are. And it's supposed to be mutable. Because Sagittarius could be very, very, very much like, what I say is law. I said it this way, gotta be this. And which is why a lot of cult leaders have Sagittarius on ninth house influence, because it can be very much, this Hitler had ninth house placements or Sag placements.
Wow.
Yeah, because he didn't, his philosophy was his philosophy, and that was it. Yeah. You couldn't question him, you couldn't say nothing to him. And that's how Sagittarius have to work on that. Sag and ninth house placement have to work on that. It's not just, you cannot be that closed-minded. You cannot. You're a mutable sign and in a mutable house. You cannot, when it comes to philosophy, you cannot be, of course, stand on something, but if you know that it's not respectful, if it's not a respectful belief, if it's not a righteous belief, you need to do away with that. And if you don't, then you're just gonna have to live your life. And if you get karma from that, that's on you.
Right.
Whatever comes from that belief.
When shit starts hitting the fan.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's the ninth house is a divinity house. It's a God house. It's you connecting to God. So God told you that your belief system is to kill people when you're upset. God told you that.
How do you justify that?
And this is what I'm saying. That people, the mind, the philosophy. So planets in the ninth house, they become expansive, they become lucky, they become blessed, they become optimistic, they become enthusiastic, they become instructive, because now they're teaching. Now those planets are teaching. They're out there in the real world. They're out there eating different foods. They're out there experiencing other cultures, and they become adventurous as well. Because Sagittarius is a wildfire. Okay, Sagittarius be like, woohoo, I'm ready to party. Like, that's it. It's like Sagittarius like, oh, where we going? We going out of country? Let's get it. That's Sag. That's just like, oh, we finna go out. Oh yeah, turn me up. Okay, so now we done went through the cycle of cardinal, fixed, mutable again. Now we at the last cardinal. We got the 10th house now. Now that we done got our belief system, we done got our philosophies. Now, what am I building for my legacy? How am I showing up in the real world? How do I really want to show up? How can I? Now, this is. I said Capricorn is synthesizing it too. Capricorn is synthesizing in a different way from Virgo. Capricorn is synthesizing your life experiences to put it into your work, to put it into your career, and to build something worthwhile and for the long term. So, 10th house, career, public life, discipline, father, karma, profession, status, masculinity, fame, experts, because the Saturn, the world card, is about being an expert. Long-term goals. And also ninth house is that as well. Ninth house is your spiritual father. That's the father you grew up with. 10th house is your materialistic dad. Okay? Because you can't get rid of your physical, spiritual father. Like, you can't, like, even if he wasn't in your life, you can't get rid of him. Like, you either saw the energy or you didn't, and you had to find it for yourself. Now, the 10th house is somebody that can be more of a mentor to you. In the 10th house, another father figure you can actually look up to. You actually see him doing things. You actually see him building things. Okay.
I think what I got in that house. I'm like,
You got Virgo in the 9th? You got Virgo in the 9th? Yeah, your dad, Mercury being in that house, your dad wasn't there. Because Mercury is travel. He might have been in proximity, but he wasn't around.
Yeah, definitely wasn't around.
But he's in proximity?
Got an hour away. So yeah,
that's still proximity, see? Yeah, because Mercury's there, Virgo's there. Where's your Mercury?
My Mercury is in the 5th house.
5th with Saturn. That could be why there's distance. Mercury and Saturn in the same house.
Yeah.
He probably couldn't teach you nothing for real. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, he was young, so I'd just be like, whatever.
Virgo, he was young. He was in his teen years.
Yeah.
Virgo.
Born, yeah.
We want to know something? A lady put me on. One of my favorite people. She Haitian too. Her name is Umi Genevieve. She put whatever your rising is the time that is with your parents. It's like the energy of how your parents conceived you, because your rising is from conception. So I was born when Virgo was in the sky, when the sun was like passing through Virgo. That's why I'm a Virgo rising, because I'm a Gemini, born 6/20. She got pregnant with me in like October.
Yeah.
Spooky. Yeah, so Virgo, it was getting around Virgo time when I was conceived. So Virgo, what is that? The virgin. Isn't it the body? When women go through maturity, their body starts to fill out. My mom had me at 19. I'm a Virgo rising. Didn't you just say your dad had you when he was a teen? Virgo's in your 9th house.
That's so crazy.
That was a learning experience for him. He might not have did well with it, but it was a learning experience for him.
Yeah, well, I'll give him credit.
He sees the serious of what it means to have children now. Even if he wasn't in your lifetime, he sees the seriousness of having children. You can't just be doing that.
Right.
All right. So planets in the 10th become responsible. They become reputable, which means having reputation. They become disciplined. They become persistent. They become ambitious, and they become practical. They also become calculated as well, because the planets in the 10th are now playing chess. They're not playing checkers. So, planets here. This is the main planet people are going to see when they see you in your career. Ashanti, Libra, they're going to see Venus, wherever her Venus is, and they're going to see Libra. They're like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I love how she looks. What do you do with your skin? Like, that's what they're going to be telling you when she's on her platform. That's what they're going to be telling her. They also want to see Ashanti as somebody who's fair, who's somebody who's just, who's somebody who wants equal treatment. She's in her career, she's serving like justice, like divine justice. Like, you move from a place of divine justice in the house, because basically you can put the justice card. If you want to do tarot, you can put the justice card in the 10th house for Ashanti. So the justice card would be in the 10th. It'd be in the 10th. So that's what she's when it's come to her career, she's moving from a more level-headed, diplomatic, cooperative, charming, graceful space. She wants to be elegant when it comes to her career. She don't want all that extra.
Yeah.
That's all we having going on. Now, it's another support system again, because now it's community. So now that you've built your career, you have a reputation now. People are feeling you. They liking what they see. They like the energy you put out. They like the work that you put out, because you're physically doing it. It's Capricorn. It's the 10th house. Now you're in this air house again. Now you have to communicate yet again. Now you have to communicate yet again. So now you're in the Aquarius house, 11th house. So that's income, that's wealth, because Capricorn is the hard work you put in. 11th house is actually you getting the wealth from the hard work you put in. Hopes and wishes, professional networks, social circles, philanthropy groups. On a low octave, cults, like Illuminati would be 11th house. Stan culture, like Ashanti told me earlier, Stan culture would be the 11th house. Fan bases, like all of that is the 11th house. So planets here become original, they become eccentric, they become futuristic. Ashanti put me on earlier. They become independent, they become open-minded, they become revolutionary, they become innovative, and they're also analytical as well. In a more like a different type of airy. It's like an otherworldly airy type of way. Like Gemini is more child analytical, with like more like curiosity. So that means planets in the 3rd become more curious, which is why I said inquisitive. But 11th house would be more like analytical in a research scientific type of way. So planets here is what your community sees you as. Sign here is what your community sees, what the energy they get from you. It's also the energy they're going to give you. So me, I got Cancer. So for the most part, women would be my biggest supporters actually for my community, actually, because I got Cancer there. Or just, it don't have to be women. It could be feminine energy just in general, because it's Cancer, right? Whatever feminine energy that looks like, that wants to support me.
Right.
So it'll be women, feminine energy, maternal figures would support me. People that deeply care about me, Cancer, people that care about me, that want to protect me, will support me. Cancer in 11. For Ashanti, what's in 11? Scorpio. People that that deeply care about Ashanti are going to be a part of her community, and she has Mars there, so they're willing to die behind Ashanti. Like when you build that, when you build that true community, they're gonna really be willing to die behind you. They're gonna send people death threats. They're gonna be that type. Yeah, with you with that Mars Scorpio, they're gonna be sending people death threats. God. They might want to have sex with you because you got Mars and Scorpio there. They're gonna be like, "Ooh, Ashanti, I'm trying to have a piece of that with that Mars and Scorpio." Your community girl, I want a piece of that. Kick that bar. Yeah, Mars and Scorpio, sexual energy there. So you have to be careful of your community trying to. You also gotta watch out. You also gotta watch out for boundaries real quick. And also 11th house soul tribe in a sense. You gotta watch out for with that Mars and Scorpio. You gotta watch out for your soul tribe being shady. Shady, envious, jealous. 8th house is also envy and jealous. Scorpio energy, envious, jealous. You gotta be watching out for people who got hidden animosity.
Right.
That Mars and Scorpio. Some people might be more upfront with it. Other people might be more covert with it and keep it low key and be plotting on you. So that's where you have to use your discernment and your intuition to know, like, I'm not really feeling. Because remember, me and you got water there. Now we got water in the house where air usually is. So we're more into. We gotta fill people out. That's why when people like, oh, we're friends. Like when I be online and stuff, we're friends. No, we're not. I don't know you. No, I do not. We're not friends. We need to go through something. We need to go through something. You're not my friend. You don't know nothing about me. You're not my friend. I cannot call you a friend. And I think that's because we got water there. So we're not as trusting. Water's not as trusting when it comes to an air house, because air house is socializing. Water has never been that trusting. Water's like, let me fill you out first. Now, maybe if an air sign was there, maybe a fire rising, they might be more comfortable with just communicating to people and becoming friends like that. But that might be their downfall as well. For us, we got to fill you out so we don't play ourselves.
Thanks.
Now,
I'm too friendly. That's where I get fucked up. I'm too friendly.
No, but it's the Gemini. We get messed up because of the Gemini. Hey, friend.
Besties forever. Not to just stab me in the back, bitch, but okay.
Like, for y'all, me and Ashanti have actually been in a group and we've actually been through something. We've actually seen each other like cry and stuff. So I can call Ashanti a friend because we've seen each other cry and stuff.
Right.
And we're actually about to see each other soon, so we can say that. Now, other people, I'm not gonna just call you my friend because no.
Yeah. No. I don't work like that.
So now, last but not least, the 12th house, the infamous 12th house. You don't know what's going on in this house. So 12th house, losses, isolation, going to foreign lands, jails, hospitals, mental hospitals, all hospitals, because 6th house will be what makes you sick. 12th house is you actually being sick. And where you go when you're sick. Go to a hospital when you're sick.
Right.
Mental sick, hospital, or physically sick, like a nursing hospital, medical hospital. Spirituality, imagination, hidden talents. A lot of Pisces are shy with their gifts. So people with 12th house and Pisces placements are usually more shy with their gifts, but they're very, very talented. They're usually very shy because you cannot see the 12th house.
Right.
Moksha is a Vedic word. Spiritual fulfillment is where you go to become spiritually fulfilled. You got to go in isolation to figure out what your spirit really needs, not even wants, what your spirit really needs. Endings, meditation, God, sexual fantasies, sleeping, closure, and what's hidden. Planets here become creative, artistic, gentle, divine, mystical, selfless, and universal. Because the 11th house is the collective consciousness. The 12th house is the collective unconsciousness.
For sure.
So that 12th house, me and Ashanti both got 6th house and 12th house placements. So we know about that whole detail, or the smaller details versus the bigger picture. It's a major part of the daily part of our life, literally. 6th house is your daily life. 6th house is your habits. Where do you get your habits from? You get your habits from the 12th house. The unconscious feelings that you have come out in your 6th house until you start changing your unconscious and your subconscious. Then you start changing your habits. Because you could think you're just changing the habit, but you gotta feel why you even had that habit in the first place. So yeah, me and Shani got 12th house. Mine is North Node. I got my North Node and Leo there. So North Node is where you're going, because the South Node is where you're coming from. So the South Node has to be the opposite house and the opposite sign. So that means my South Node would have to be Aquarius, and it'd have to be the 6th house. So my Leo North Node in the 12th means I'm more shy about expressing my inner child. I'm more shy about my natural talents mixed with my hidden talents. So I got natural hidden talents that I don't
Mhm.
always put on the forefront because I wasn't raised like that to put them on the forefront. And that's why my chart is the way it's set up. I haven't
Yeah.
been raised to really put them on the forefront. So my natural talents, my more playful nature, my more being self-centered. Honestly, I'm supposed to be self-centered, but in a way that it helps the masses though, because my Leo energy, my North Node is in the house of my Rahu is in the house of the divine. So I
Yeah.
am supposed to transcend my ego and use my inner child for to heal other people. Like me expressing would be me helping a lot of people. Me showing up fully in my solar energy, my Leo energy would be me helping other people. And then the
Right.
sun would be this wherever my sun placement is would be how I'm showing those gifts and that divinity and that mysticality and the selflessness and the creative and the artistic abilities.
Right.
Whatever that house would be where I'm showing it. So it's gonna take me a little while because North Node is like is literally opposition. So it's like you're here and you've been used to this, but you want to go here, but you don't
Yeah.
know how to get there though. But you just gotta do it though. So I just gotta do
Mhm.
it. Like I'm used to being Aquarius. I'm used to be in the background. No, I'm not gonna do too much. Like I don't want to be seen. Like it's okay. I don't need the
Right.
spotlight. But really, there's a deep part of me. But even the universe wants me to be more out there.
Mhm.
But North, no, I gotta grow into it though.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's for me.
Yes, that was lovely. Thank you for the explanation. I feel very informed, and I will definitely be applying this information to my personal life just because I don't know, I've been getting a little bit more into astrology lately, but not to the point where I've been like researching, but just kind of looking at my chart and stuff. So this will help me in my personal research and findings with myself. So thank you, Ty, for
You're
sharing
welcome. You're absolutely
your
welcome.
expertise on the houses. It is much appreciated. And I don't know if you have anything else that you want to plug in. I don't really have
Um,
anything going on. So
when y'all see this, you know, if you want to book with your boy, I've actually put different I've separated my astro bundles into categories of like career, if you want to do love life, if you want to do um past life, which is like moon, Saturn, the south node, like if you want to do that. If you want to do your big three, we could do that. I probably should make a big six too, like your personal planets. If you don't want to do your
yeah,
outer, like I could do those too. So that's I got those as bundles right now. And if you want to do the whole chart, there's that too. I could do that too. So yeah.
yeah,
And I'm running aspects. So come on, let's get it. Cause I'm
yeah.
running
Pull up on
aspects.
him. Y'all go support and all that good stuff because he deserves it. He works really hard, and I get to see it personally. So
But
if y'all don't support him, I will pull up to y'all's houses with pitchforks. Um, so I'm for real. But thank you, Ty. I hope you have
you're
an
welcome.
amazing rest of your night.
You too.
And I will see y'all. I don't know when. I don't know when. I'll probably see y'all tomorrow, actually. I think I got something going on tomorrow. But I love you guys. See y'all next time. Don't forget to hydrate, meditate. Peace.
Deuces.